Alrighty, so dev blog number 3. I have just finished what I think is going to be the first iteration of the rogue class. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go over them here. As you see, they have about average health, very poor mana. They have a very high amount of attack that it has a steep progression. It increases rather quickly. They have low defense and magic defense. It's actually the same metric you see here. Value 10, value 10. I go all the way to 25, caps out at 29. So they have really low defenses. There's a good reason for that. And we'll see it in their kit. They also have really high agility and really high luck. So luck determines whether or not you actually apply an effect. Say you're going to stun the enemy, right? But you have 20 luck and they have 50 luck. They get an increased chance to resist that effect being applied to them because of that luck. Agility is basically your attack order. It's kind of like speed in a lot of other RPGs. The more agility you have, the faster you are. So let's say there's 8 people in battle. You have the highest agility. You attack first, and then all other 7 people go after you in terms of the order of highest and lowest agility. They have poor magic attack. See, it goes to 26 by the time that they're level 25. In comparison, as you see, 103. So very low magic attack, right? We go to their features. They are 15% less likely to be targeted. They have about an 85% accuracy rate. They have a natural 10% evasion, a natural 10% crit. They are versed in the special skill type. They have no access to magic. They can use claws, daggers, and swords, and of course they can also dual wield. They can also equip general armor and light armor. General armor being things like accessories, and light armor being things like leather armor, and maybe a bandana, things like that, right? So for the skills portion of this video, I will actually just launch a test battle. So this is a maxed out rogue that would have access to all of the abilities. So if we look here, go to the first one. This ability has been added by an accessory, so we're going to ignore that. So the first ability is Cheap Kick. It's a cheap kick designed to disrupt an enemy's combat focus. What does this actually mean? Well, they have a 25% chance to apply stun and a 25% chance to apply paralyze. So this just costs basic mana, and it does a little bit more damage than a normal attack. See, as you see there, it also decreases their agility, meaning you can kind of create a farther gap in terms of speed so that you always go first. You'll notice that a lot of their abilities are free. I made that for the purpose of the demonstration. These would usually have costs. So first is stealth. What stealth does is it makes your target rate drop to 0. It increases your evasion by 50%, and it makes you immune to being provoked. Right? So that's the first one. Now, Dagger Mastery is a big part of your kit, actually. It's going to add 25% attack, 50% agility, 15% crit. You have a 100% chance to apply bleed when you attack, and then you have a 15% chance to apply paralyze or stun, respectively, when you attack. You also learn the ability Run Through for the duration of Dagger Mastery. You see it's displayed there with the little dagger icon. So when you go back in here, we have a new ability, Run Through. It's cost 35 mana. It's a powerful stab that deals large amounts of damage to the enemy, as well as applying defense and a bleed. So this is actually a pretty powerful ability. It has a natural base of 100 plus 200% of your attack, 800% of your agility, and 800% of your luck. But it also factors in your level times 2. So this being us being 25 here, that's going to add 50 damage to it. You see? Does quite a bit of damage, but this is the first boss of the game. It normally would not one-shot something. It's just a pretty good damage ability, right? We continue along with our demonstration here. We're going to skip Blade Dance for now. We get Fan of Needles. This is a basic ability that doesn't require your normal tech points. This is Fan of Needles. It damages and poisons all enemies. See, he's going to be taking damage every round here while he's poisoned. There's currently not an indicator for that, but I do plan on doing so. Okay, so the next ability is actually Smokescreen. Now what this is going to do is it's going to apply some pretty good buffs to your entire party. Normally this is a pretty expensive ability sitting at 50 TP, so it's going to take half of your bar for your special abilities, right? It's going to give you 35% evasion, 35% crit. You're going to attack an extra time. You have a 35% counter rate, and it increases your team's agility by 50% for 3 rounds. So you guys go first, you crit more often, and you're harder to hit. You also get an extra attack. You see, 1 kills because of the crit. Here, what I'm actually gonna do is let's beef up Mr. Mob's health just for demonstration. Let's see, let's go back into Smokescreen immediately here. So like I said, it normally gives you, because we're dual wielding, we get 2 attacks, but this actually gives the attack times +1 buff, which means 1, 2, 3. You see 1 was evaded, but it was 3. And then we counterattacked like you just saw. So, the next ability is Shadow Strike. It's a powerful attack to an enemy that is guaranteed to critically strike. It is not currently guaranteed to critically strike, because I'm still messing around with the coding, but I wanted to get this out here. And then this is finally their ultimate ability. This would take 100% of their technical points. So it's basically, think of it like a Final Fantasy limit burst if you've ever played Final Fantasy. So this is Assassination. You only unlock this at max level, which would be 25. Deals with a target, clean and quick. So you see, it only did 7,000 out of its 17,500 health, right? But what it actually does is it has a 100% chance to apply death, basically instantly killing them. One might think that's a little unbalanced, but it's actually pretty okay, because on most bosses, they're going to be immune to death. So on most bosses, it just deal a very large amount of damage, you see. So now we go back to the only one I haven't shown yet would be Blade Dance. So we're going to lower this to 0. And let's see here. Let's do Extreme. It just adds 2 mobs. Just to display this actually does hit all. So Blade Dance would be the final ability. You actually unlock this one relatively early, but this is like your mid-game ultimate, to kind of put air quotes around that. It's a quick series of blows that deals great damage to all enemies. So you see, it's a series of blows, so it damages them 5 times. So practically, when you use this, let's say you had Dagger Mastery, which makes you apply bleed, right? And then you go in here. That should apply bleed multiple times. Okay. Alright, and that was the quick little view on the class I completed, Rogue. If you have any suggestions or things you would like to see added, I do invite you to suggest that. I can't guarantee that I'll accept the idea, but I'm always welcome to hear people's creative thoughts, right? So, that'll be it for this video, and I do hope you have a fantastic rest of your night. Thank you for checking in on Devblog 3 of Legend of Lionheart.